everyone, welcome back to the Mandu channel. We're going to see a parole hearing. What's interesting about this one is that in the research, I found something unique that we had never seen before, something about the visitation rights of his daughter, how it was denied, how he appealed, and then also we found a surprise in there about how he had murdered his victim, something that they didn't bring up in the trial, but we'll jump into that after the hearing. For now, let's jump in.
Good morning, sir. Could you introduce yourself, tell us your name and DOC?
Jamie Smith, 355512.
You are represented by counsel this morning. Sir, would you introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, ma'am. For the record, Eric Johnson and Eric Whitehead on behalf of Jamie Smith.
All right, thank you, sir. Let me acknowledge the family members who have also joined us and will be speaking on behalf of Mr. Smith. We have Jessica Wallace, Sarah Smith, and Donna Moffitt. And at the appropriate time, we'll call on you guys to hear what you have to say. First, Mr. Smith, I'll read some identifying information into the record, ask you to confirm it. I'll turn it over to Mrs. Wise. Your case has been assigned to her. She'll take the lead on the interview. We'll hear from the warden, we'll hear from your family members, and you'll be allowed to make a statement before we turn it over to counsel for their presentation. Is that process okay with you, Mr. Johnson?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Smith, you're classified as a second felony offender. You're currently serving a 34-year sentence. You have a civil robbery in Ouachita Parish. You received a 4-year sentence initially in 1995. You have a sentence for manslaughter. You received 30 years also in Ouachita Parish, October of 2003. You have a parole eligibility date, which is February 17, 2023. You have a good time date, January 17, 2032. Full term date, January 12, 2035. Does all that sound correct to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you answer Mrs. Wise's questions?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Pretty nervous.
All right, let's breathe. Let's just breathe. I called out for the record, sir. How long you been in jail?
3 months shy of 22 years.
Like 22 years. Okay, and how old are you today?
I'm 44 years old.
4 years old. All right, almost half of your life. I see you. What programs have you taken that's made a difference?
Ma'am, I've taken Celebrate Recovery, AANA, Victims Awareness, Substance Abuse, many core base, several Bible study courses, some of them through NOTBS Bible College, Living in Balance 1 and 2, anger management, it's cage arrays, and 2 are just regular anger management, stress management, advanced stress management, advanced anger management.
Good, that's good. And parenting, I just want to put them
Yes,
on
ma'am.
from a distance.
From a distance, yes, ma'am.
And you got your carpentry certificates.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The record show you've been a trustee for 10 years. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How long you been a trustee?
I don't know the exact year. It's been at least 10 years. It may be more. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly what year that I became a trustee.
And I do want to acknowledge for the record, you have support letters from staff, the chaplain, and the person at the farm attesting to your good work, your dependability, your consistency in doing the work that you do for the farm. We don't see those very often. Staff taking the time, to write and talk about how well you've been doing. Tell us what was going on in your life in 2003. What contributed to all this? What was going on?
in 2003, I was in OCC.
No, what got you there? That's what she wants to know. What got you? What was going on in your life that got you there?
Drugs and alcohol have robbed me of my life. Basically, my use of drugs and alcohol has destroyed my life, and it's destroyed the life of my victim and of his families due to my poor decision making because of it.
In 1996, you were sent to Blue Water. Did you complete it? Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I did complete it. But at that time, I was young and I was not seeking help. I mean, I went in there just trying to go home. That's all I was doing then, so I could get back to doing the same things that I was doing previous.
But thank you for your honesty.
Yes,
I'm glad you really looked at yourself and owned who you were then and who you are now. That's good to
Yes,
hear.
ma'am.
It's really good to hear. What is your sobriety plan? If you're successfully in your release, how you plan to stay clean and sober?
I plan to go through AANA and get a sponsor and go as much as possible, whatever it takes for me to continue to stay sober and try and have a productive life so I can be there to help my family and to be a good member of society, which is something I've never been before.
Great, that's great. That is really good. Now look at your supervision history. You were revoked both times. And
Yes,
you
ma'am.
also, and that was about what? You tell me.
The same thing, ma'am, on drugs and drinking and being selfish, just not being the man that I am today. I was basically a kid just trying to live a street life and staying high and drinking every day.
Because you were on supervision when you committed the manslaughter. You were on
Ma'am.
supervision,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So that's what's so concerning to me. So what's going to be different this time? How you plan on doing your supervision? Have you given it any thought?
I mean, as far as my supervision, I mean, I don't know how it goes out there now. I've been gone so long. I mean, but I mean, as far as my plans are to continue to stay in my sobriety, to keep from having to have any more problems in my life, because I want to be out there for my family. And, you know, my older, she's not in good health now. And, you know, my daughter, she was 3 months old when I got incarcerated. And, you know, she's 22 now, and I've not been able to been there none of this time for any of them. And I want to be there.
Good to hear. The record shows your marital status is that you're married. Is that correct?
No, I'm divorced now, ma'am.
Divorced, okay. And you do have one child. What's the age of your child?
She's 22 years old.
2 years old. I'm sorry, you didn't say that. Now, I do want to inform you that we do reach out to the law enforcement community and the victim to get their opinion about early release.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you have opposition in the law enforcement community, but the judge is unopposed. I just want you to know that that's kind of unique. And also, the victim's family is opposed to your release. If you could talk to the victim's family, what would you say?
Ma'am, I would tell them how sorry I am for what I did. You know, I know I devastated them and destroyed their lives with what I did. And I'm sorry. And I mean, I wish I could change it. I swear I wish I could go back and change it. I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart for what I did. I mean, I know that how hard it's been on my family just for me being here. But I mean, I can't even imagine how hard it's been for them, for him not being there because I took his life, you know, and he'll never be there. All they have is memories, you know, at least my family still has me. And I mean, it's a terrible thing that I did. And I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry.
Did you know him?
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all were friends?
Yes, ma'am. I knew him from the neighborhood.
All right. Okay. All right. That's all I have. Warden, what do you want to tell us about Mrs.
Ms.
Smith?
Farrell, Offender Smith has a excellent institutional record. I know you touched on a little bit of it. He was very, very young when he got incarcerated the first time, and he was still very, very young when he became a second offender. He and I have talked about this several times, and I believe you was his parole officer when he committed this crime. I think you was his supervisor at the time back in 2003 when he caught his second charge. But he was still a very, very young man at the time. And when I first met him, when he first came to Wade in 2004, I wasn't real sure about him. He had a cocky attitude, I guess, to one way to put it. But I've watched him over the last 18, 19 years that I've known him, and he's really matured a lot. And he took advantage of all the opportunities that the institution provided for him. He's gone to programming. He got his GED. He's been involved in a lot of substance abuse programming and a lot of recognition, victim awareness and recognition for the harm that he's caused due to this crime. And he and I speak on a regular basis, and he's shown a lot of remorse for what he's done. You notice his last write-up was in 2008. He's been a trustee since 2012 at this institution. And he's, I find him now at this point in his life to be a very trustworthy individual. He relates well to staff. He relates well to the other offenders. He's very positive in his day-to-day activities. He's very skilled in carpentry and numerous other things. I mean, he won't have any problem, I don't think, re-entering society and being successful. He's certainly employable. He certainly has the skill sets now to be successful. In his task, he works at our range herd, which takes care of our cattle and things like that. He works out on the farm. He works with very little supervision, and he requires little supervision. He does his task. He completes his task in a timely manner, and he's probably not probably. He is, like I say, he's very trustworthy. Anything I would ask him to do out there on the farm, I know it's going to get done, and I don't have to worry about him. He's always going to show up for count time. He's always going to be where he's supposed to be, and he's always going to be doing what he's supposed to be doing. I think Jamie Smith has done well during his incarceration. I think he's worked hard to prepare himself for reentry. I think he's taken advantage of every opportunity at this institution, and I think he is prepared for reentry at this point. I don't think there's any more that the institution has to offer at this point during his incarceration. He is very capable, and I believe he will be successful upon his reentry if he's given that opportunity by the board today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's all I had, Jim. All right, we'll hear from your family now, Mr. Smith. Could we hear first from Miss Sarah, your daughter?
Hi. I have, from hearing like the type of person that my dad was in the past, it doesn't compare to the man that I know as my dad. I only got to meet my dad in 2016, 2017, and he's been my best friend since the moment that I don't know, just he's been a big support in my life. And up until this point, I've never had an idea of what it would be like to have my dad here. And I think he would really like to, I would really like to see how it would be to have my dad in my life. And I think that he shares the same feelings. And I think that it's been so long that he really has found a completely different path in life. And I really do think that he is he's an amazing person, and I stand by that forever. Even before I knew him, the only things I would ever hear about him were how good of a person he was, how good of a person he is, and that he just made bad decisions. And, you know, I think that speaks a lot for itself. But I would really like to see my dad here, and yeah, I think that's all. Sorry.
Right. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let's hear from Ms. Jessica Wallace.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I am Jamie's younger sibling. And obviously I've known him my entire life. And to be completely honest with you, what you just heard from Jamie was really the heart that I've always known in Jamie. Of course, we've had rough roads in life and our childhood wasn't perfect, or there's no excuses. I understand that, but I truly believe with every fiber inside of me that he has done a complete 180, and he is more than willing and ready and equipped. I feel the Lord has blessed him in such a way that he is ready to step out into this world and be a viable person in society, be successful at everything he does, because he's always a very determined individual. And as far as support goes, he could not get more support from me personally, but from my mom, Sarah, his daughter. I mean, there are so many, and we own a couple of businesses, and I have a position open for him to be a maintenance manager for one of our rental companies. As far as we have a home already established from him that we specifically purchased and set up just for him, so that he is going to be ready to go as soon as we get the green light. And that's what we're praying that is going to be laid here today. But of course, I appreciate this time that you guys have given us, and the opportunity to speak on his behalf. We love him. We're willing to support him in any possible way in order to keep him on the straight and narrow, so to speak. But in reality, his mindset is already there. So thank you.
Thank you. And your mother, Ms. Donna Moffett, would she like to speak?
Yes, ma'am, if I can. Sorry. He's got family members that are going to back him mentally, emotionally, financially at the beginning, spiritually. We have already planned on how to get him a truck. He's got a cousin, his sister, and I've got a friend that's already got him a job offer. As soon as he gets out, all he has to do is get on the phone. And I love him. I want him home. I need him home. But I want him home more than I need him. He's been gone so long, and he has grown a lot, a whole lot. He's always been a good boy, but he did fail when he was younger and did a bad thing. And it was wrong, and I know that. Right is right, wrong is wrong. My kids was taught that up from ground up. He's learned his lesson, and he is sorry. He'll never do it again, and I know he won't. He's too good of a person, and he has grown into a true man. And he's going to do right. I believe that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Moffett. We appreciate hearing from you. So, Jamie, is there a statement you'd like to make to the panel before we turn it over to your attorney?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to say again how sorry I am to Jerry's family for what I've done and for the pain and the hurt that I've caused them. Like I said, I mean, it's unimaginable, because I know how I would feel if something like that were to happen to me. And I mean, I'm ashamed of myself for what I've done, for letting drugs and alcohol rob me of my right mind, and to make me to have done something as terrible as that. I mean, I'm ashamed of myself, and I'm truly sorry to his family.
All right. Well, thank you, sir. Mr. Johnson, we'll turn it over to y'all.
Thank you. Ms. Wise, Ms. Bernatza, and I know that's Ms. Jackson, that's not Mr. Roche. Even they got the name tag wrong. I knew what Mr. Roach said when I saw y'all. I don't know what I can add to what Warden Goodwin has already said, to what Jamie's daughter Sarah has said, to what Ms. Wallace and Ms. Moffett have already said, and what Jamie himself has said. But I can tell you this: I go to David Wade regularly to see clients who are incarcerated there, and I can't remember. I've been going up there for almost 30 years now, and about 4 or 5 years ago, I started to have general staff there mention Jamie to me and asked me, if there was anything I could do to help get Jamie out of where he was. And that's only increased in frequency of contact recently that we've been going up there to help him with this process. I can honestly tell you that everyone from Warden Goodwin on down to the guards there have mentioned Jamie to me and told me that Jamie is a person who no longer belongs at David Wade Correctional Center. I would say what you already know, that he spent half of his life incarcerated, either at David Wade or at other facilities. He has missed, and Jamie and I talked about this. We had a Zoom conference last week to kind of go over what was going to happen this morning at this hearing. And we discussed the fact that I have a daughter that is right around the age of Jamie's daughter, Sarah. And I've been fortunate and blessed that I've been able to spend all of her life, from when I held her when she was delivered in the delivery room until current day. I've had all of that time with my daughter. He has not had that time with Sarah, and he's missed the majority of her life being incarcerated. And he told me last week that more than anything, what he wants to do, if he's granted the capability of rejoining society and becoming a productive member of it, is that he will, in addition to being gainfully employed, and that is not going to be a problem, I believe. Ms. Wallace, they have a rental property management company where Jamie is going to take care of all of their rental properties for them. And he certainly has a skill set that he's developed since he's been locked up to be able to do that. But he wants to get out, work hard, go home at the end of the workday, and have a relationship with his daughter, Sarah, that again, he's missed her early phase of her life. He can now be there with her during her young adult phase of her life. And I believe that if the board grants him the opportunity, none of you are going to be embarrassed by that decision at any point down the road. I don't normally vouch for clients with 100% certainty when I say you're not going to see this person ever again. I think I can say that with 100% certainty here this morning. If you give Jamie Smith this opportunity, you're never going to be embarrassed by your decision. I think that he has shown during the 10 years that he's been a trustee at David Wade, where Warden Goodwin has allowed him to go out in the community when they've had storms or tornadoes or terrible winds that have come through, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done to clear roadways or power lines or what have you. Jamie Smith has been out there helping that community. I don't think it's an understatement or a misstatement that Warden Goodwin would trust him to go out of that facility without any kind of supervision and do a job wherever he was sent and come back to the facility without any problem or issue whatsoever. In fact, I think that he's done that before in the instances that I've described. And I really believe, y'all know what mission statement for DOC is. It's to incarcerate and punish, and then to prepare those who are incarcerated for eventual reentry into society. Jamie Smith has taken every course, class, opportunity available to him while at David Wade. He's completed every course and class and certification that he could complete while there. There's nothing more for him to take or do there. I really believe that at this point he's in a position to rejoin society, become a productive member of it, and enjoy the life that he can enjoy with his only child, with his daughter Sarah, as a father to her, and that he can be there for her going forward where he's not been able to be there for her up to this point in time. And I thank the board for its consideration. Mr. Smith's application for parole. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. This is Mr. Eric Whitehead, who works with me here. He's an attorney in my firm, and he has helped us prepare Jamie's parole application. In fact, he wrote that beautiful, wonderful letter that I signed with him also attached. I can't write that well, so I want to give him credit where credit's due.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. I think we're prepared to vote, Ms. Wise.
Mrs. Smith, you prepared a long time ago for this day. And I thank you for making it easy. My vote is to grant, because of your excellent, institutional record, the overwhelming letters of support, the time served, positive comments on the warden, and the work that you've done on yourself internally. I think you're ready as well. Special conditions, and because of your poor supervision history, report to probation parole for the first 4 weeks weekly, just to get acclimated so that you can understand that an officer is on your team. And y'all can get acclimated. And AA meetings at least 3 times a week. Best wishes to you, sir.
Mrs. Jackson.
Mr. Smith, you've done an outstanding job and you had a really good interview. I believe that you are genuinely remorseful for taking someone's life. You've done everything that has been asked of you. I don't know if there's anything else that is left for you to do. And so my vote today is to likewise grant your parole with the same conditions as Mrs. Wines below.
My vote is the same. My vote also is to grant for all the reasons that have been stated. So today, sir, you can grant. Good luck to you. You're ready.
Thank all of you. Thank you. I love it. We won one.
Did the attorney just say we won one? Okay, so I love the outcome of this case, and I started doing research because I wanted to learn more about it, right? And because I believe he pled, he took a plea to second-degree manslaughter. You just can't find it on Google, or at least I wasn't able to find it. And in many cases, the only things that I can find are if there are news articles or if they appeal the case. For whatever reason, when someone appeals, it's really easy to find on Google when you search for it. What did show up when I searched was an appeal for his right to have visitations with his daughter, Sarah Smith. This goes back to when she was 5 years old. In this document, which I'll include in the link, we find out what landed him in prison. And this throws really a giant monkey wrench into the entire way that I feel about this outcome. And I really want to talk it out with you guys. So, unless it's a typo, he stabbed someone 104 times. Yeah, you heard me right. 104 times. So it just changes everything. I mean, we really had, for whatever reason, they didn't go into the details of this case at all. They mentioned that the victim still opposes, that the judge doesn't, but the victim didn't come here to make a statement. It didn't get into the details, and we're just hearing something which just seems so, great, and that someone really earned their right to freedom. But then when you hear that he stabbed someone 104 times, nonetheless, after he was on parole, how do you stab someone 104 times? There's 60 seconds in a minute. I mean, you're going at it and you would think you have to have some type of serious mental illness or some serious rage, like someone had to have really hurt you. I mean, you might have to have both to do 140. You don't. What is actually really scary on that note is when I was searching for it, there were a lot of articles that showed up 100 someone stabbed 104 times. Who would even think actual 104 number, right? Then there are others in the hundreds, but apparently there are a lot of people that rage this way, which is just crazy. I don't understand why they didn't. And you would think, I thought that it's only 20 something years ago. I thought that this would show up in newspaper articles. I couldn't find it. It's so bizarre. I don't know if it was a typo in there, but when someone pleads to second degree manslaughter, I don't know how you can go from 104 stabs to second degree manslaughter. But anyways, what do you all think now? Does it change the way that you feel about this? Does it make you feel like he shouldn't be getting out? But what is interesting is about the whole idea of that. So she was 5 years old when he was still married to his wife. His wife would come visit him, so he still had a good relationship with her, or it seemed a relationship. And he really wanted to see his daughter, and she was refusing to bring his daughter. So he filed a petition, or to make it that she would have to attend. And the judge sent a specialist to talk with the daughter, and the daughter said no, she doesn't want to go. She's afraid. And he appealed on the lines that she was being influenced to say that she can't actually mean it. And they said, and this is what I'll include the link on, and this is where it mentions the 104 stabbing. And they concluded that no, it's still too, you just have to trust in what she's saying, and we can't, until she's ready or grows up to know she's ready, she's not going to come visit. And it is, let's 104 stab wounds aside, it's beautiful to see that they've built, it seems like a really wonderful, authentic, beautiful relationship. And the idea that he really wanted to see her, it wasn't some type of act, right? Like it wasn't like he was doing it against his wife. He seemed to have still had a relationship with his wife at the time. He just really wanted to see his daughter. And I could see many reasons why his wife wouldn't want to bring his daughter to put her in that environment. So I know a lot of you are really better at searching the internet than I am. If you can find anything on this, then you can send it to me in my email, and I can put it in the link, or maybe I can even do another video on it. But I think it's worth like kind of throwing out there just for like a food for thought thing. Like if someone does a crime and it's that kind of, I guess we're just missing details, but still 104, why it's a big deal is that it makes you wonder, is he mentally, to do that, you have to be like, it's not pulling a trigger of a gun. It's not like, there has to be something loose. And then when will that time bomb go off again? I think that's the point. And that's scary. As much as I'm rooting for him, and as great as he's proven himself to be under these circumstances, it just seems like an unknown, like a mental illness type thing. So love to hear your thoughts on it. With that, I'll let you go.